LA This Week.
Everywhere has a great need for anything for our homeless residents to help get them through the holidays and hopefully make their lives a little better.
It is a program that will be lasting through December 17, and it allows any business to essentially come clean and pay for any back taxes, and in exchange, the city will waive all penalties associated with those delinquent accounts.
Our main mission is to empower other women and girls with disabilities to live boundlessly and shift perspective through dance.
Hello everyone, I'm Rasha Goel. Here's what's happening in LA this week. Street racing has long been a problem in Los Angeles, and not just in the movies. Councilmember John Lee and the LAPD have connected with Motor Gospel for a new after-school program to help alert young Angelenos to the dangers of reckless driving. Check out the Auto Shop Club.
Motor Gospel has two primary activities, obviously Christian church activities, but also what I like to call non-religious benevolent activity in the community. You might say kindness just for kindness' sake, and a big part of that is an anti-street racing campaign that I operate for the Los Angeles Police Department. So we take people to the track. They come to us from the courts on alternative sentencing. They come to us from the schools. We've had some wonderful kids on IEP programs that were on the autism spectrum that responded very favorably to working on the race cars. All kinds of people have come alongside and helped, like Councilmember Lee. He got a grant from LA City for an anti-street racing simulator that we're going to be debuting in a short while here when the kids show up. The simulator is amazing. It allows a kid to try and text while driving.
What Aaron has been able to do is trying to give kids an alternative to street racing and taking kids to a track and give them a safer way to race where they're not doing it in neighborhoods and endangering themselves or other people.
What this brings to the table is education. You know, the simulator is huge. It brings education to people, letting them know that it's dangerous to street race. I mean, I personally have witnessed the fatalities, and it is very dangerous.
Creo que este programa es un programa fantástico para la comunidad, porque hay muchas personas y madres que tienen hijos que tal vez no saben qué pueden hacer en actividades después de la escuela, y es una avenida para que ellas se puedan informar y hacer cosas que ayuden a sus hijos.
It's a place where they can actually get close to the cars, opportunity that they don't have, and it's good for them to get an idea what the parts of the car are, things that in the future they might help them.
They've served our country. Now it's time for Los Angeles to give back. Councilmember Curran Price has teamed up with Volunteers of America to open up a new shelter for veterans. This site will not only offer beds, but will also work with the residents on occupational and medical assistance.
Well, we're at a very exciting location sponsored by the Volunteers of America. This is a facility that will house homeless individuals, but will provide more than just housing. It's going to provide services, occupational services, medical services, and services designed to help the veterans who are going to be housed here become reacclimated and rejoin society.
So what our team does here at Volunteers of America Los Angeles for the veterans is we provide transitional housing, we do permanent supportive housing, we provide financial assistance for rental assistance, we also do employment, and we just support them to get back on their feet.
Van a haber recámaras, un lugar para donde ellos puedan comer, van a haber desayuno, lonche y también para que ellos se puedan bañar y lavar la ropa.
This is probably the best example of collaboration between social service providers, local government, state, and federal entities. What we've got here is about 50,000 square feet of space that's going to be converted for housing, interim housing mostly for homeless individuals.
It's very important to get addressed. We probably have about 3,000 to 4,000 homeless veterans here in LA County that we want to support and service, so we want to help them. Again, remember how great they were when they were in the military.
And where did you serve?
United States Navy. I did 7 years, 4 years reserve, 3 years active. It's a rough ride. Just do the best you can. Don't give up. Don't quit. There's a lot of times where I want to quit, but I speak to people, the counselors there, and they keep me, motivated to keep moving on because it's pretty easy to give up, but I'm not ready to give up as yet.
What an inspirational story. And here's some more inspiration. This week we joined Councilmember Blumenfield at MTO Shamaksudi for National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. MTO continues their outreach work by providing gift bags for first responders and those experiencing homelessness.
So today we're here honoring frontline heroes and actually providing food donations and PPE donations to those who are most vulnerable, particularly homeless. This is the Homeless and Hunger Awareness Week, and so we're giving back by providing all these food donations to Salvation Army, Hunger Home, People Concerned, as well as some other local offices, as well as providing PPE donations to several major hospitals.
I love being in this facility. It's such a beautiful facility, not just because of the intricacies of the building, but because of the spirit of the people and the fact that you step up time and time again to help with this community. And you're honoring our first responders, which is so important.
So obviously everywhere has a great need for anything for our homeless residents to help get them through the holidays and hopefully make their lives a little better.
Hoy que hacemos hacemos dando mucha comida a la gente sin lugar, ayudando a la gente que no tiene comida en la calle. Tenemos más de 1,000 bolsas de comidas que tienen cereal, tiene pasta, tiene sopas, tiene peanut butter, tiene tomatina, tiene todo que uno puede comer.
Since April, we've been providing thousands of PPEs, food donations to low-income seniors, to low-income communities, to the homeless, as well as to the PPEs to the hospitals. And this has been an ongoing effort, not just here in Los Angeles, but throughout our centers all around the world.
For many of our caregivers that work extended hours to get a note from a total stranger, to these packages that are delivered that are so beautifully, poetically, wrapped and delivered, that they are making a difference, and there are people out there that truly appreciate their efforts and their care.
This is one of my favorite annual events in Los Angeles, Councilmember Kern Price's Senior Appreciation Luncheon. This event normally is full of dancing, performances, and some of the best hats you'll see in town. This year, the event took on a new meaning, helping community members affected by the pandemic.
We're going to be here at Pueblo del Rio today in our district as we celebrate our seniors. Usually we have a big celebration at the convention center honoring our seniors, celebrating their achievements. This year we can't do just that, and so we have had to scale back a bit. So we're doing individual celebrations all over our community with our seniors.
Yo pienso que todas las ayudas que nos llegan nos benefician de algún modo por esta pandemia que estamos pasando. Pero es bueno que el gobierno haga estos eventos para nosotros.
It helps a lot of ways, we might be short on something, what we don't have, at this time of year, though, Just be thankful and grateful that you can come to a place like this,
En relación con el restaurante Delicious, vamos a estar repartiendo alimentos calientes y también tenemos estas cajas atrás de nosotros en las que tenemos regalos como camisetas, tenemos bolsas del Distrito 9, del concejal que representa a esta parte de la ciudad.
Is
event and the role of the LAPD is that of a collaborative nature. The LAPD is supportive of the activities that happen in the community, especially when led by the council districts. The officers you see here today are from the Community Safety Partnership Bureau.
Económicamente nos ayuda porque por la situación en que estamos y yo pienso que es una ayuda muy importante para todos.
So our way of saying thank you, our way of appreciating the unique role the seniors play, and our appreciation for their service to our community, for their service to their families, and we want them to be safe.
Si alguien necesita ayuda, por favor, marcar el 323-846-2651. En nuestras oficinas estamos abiertos los 5 días de la semana, de 9 a 5. Podemos hablar con ellos y lo que necesiten, para eso estamos nosotros.
This week, we wanted to talk finances for the city of Los Angeles and how we've been impacted by the pandemic. Richard Llewellyn serves as the city administrative officer, a role that seems incredibly complicated in regular times. And during COVID and the unpredictable nature of our economy, it takes incredible organization. Maria Hall-Brown interviews.
Managing the budget of any city is very intimidating, but imagine managing Los Angeles's budget in terms of oversight. Well, my guest today does just that. I'm delighted to be joined by our City Administrative Officer, Richard Llewellyn. So nice to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
How intimidating is it managing or being responsible for the oversight of a budget for a city as large as Los Angeles?
It's intimidating. Certainly in rocky times like right now, it's particularly intimidating. We have a $12 billion kind of downtown budget, and if you add the utility, water and power, the airport, the port, we're 25 to 30 billion. We're one of the biggest local governments in the world.
So would we actually basically have the same budget of small countries?
Oh, bigger than many small countries.
Really?
Yes.
Prior to the pandemic, actually, the city was in pretty good fiscal health. There was a reserve, et cetera. However, in September, you estimated a fiscal shortfall that could be as dramatic as $600 million. How are we moving, and what are you feeling right now?
So we haven't totally, I don't want to give any secrets, we haven't totally updated. We're not feeling any better. The sort of around the country and around California, COVID is up again. You know, the single biggest thing to getting our revenues back is the economy reopening. And economists debate, is it going to charge out of the blocks, or is it going to kind of limp out of the blocks, or some combination? But it can't move at all until it's reopened, until indoor dining is allowed, till you can just go in a restaurant, and people feel safe going in a restaurant. So, you know, the last month hasn't produced good news for us. We just need to get a handle on the pandemic. The pandemic hit just as the city was preparing its budget for this fiscal year. We're July to July.
Right.
So some of it was baked into this budget, which was a tough budget as a result, but the pandemic has been worse than we expected. So we're going to have to cut even more. It's going to be a tough year.
How much do we need the federal assistance? Has it helped? And should we continue to look for more?
We could not do this without federal assistance. That's just a fact.
Well, I hope next time we have a chance to chat, we can talk about more lighthearted things. In any case, it still was really fun to talk to you, so thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Want to know more about the Office of the City Administrative Officer? Check out their website at cao.lacity.org. Up next, we meet Deanna Mangiolu of the Office of Finance. We get more info on their tax amnesty program running through December 17th that gives people a way to avoid tax penalties during the pandemic. Check it out.
I'm delighted to welcome to LA Currents the Director of Finance, Deanna Mangiolu. Lovely to have you here. The Office of Finance for the City of Los Angeles encompasses a very large scope of responsibility. So, in a nutshell, frankly, what does it do?
We are, number one, the city's tax collector. So we collect half of the city's general fund related taxes. And second, we are the city treasurer. So we manage the city's cash and ensure that we are investing that cash prudently and that we have it liquid and available for when we need it.
Since this is one of those unorthodox periods in time that nobody could have predicted anything, some special things have gone into place, including a tax penalty amnesty program.
It is a program that will be lasting through December 17, and it allows any business doing business within the city of Los Angeles that should, whether they're registered or not, to essentially come clean and pay for any back taxes that they owe, including principal and interest, and in exchange, the city will waive all penalties associated with those delinquent accounts. During the time of the pandemic, when it's been really difficult for businesses that are struggling, to allow for an opportunity to reduce that burden on them. You can submit an application online, you can call us, contact us, and our tax and permit enforcement staff are happy to help.
Do you, at the Office of Finance, offer a payment program of any kind?
We do. So as part of the tax penalty amnesty program, we offer an installment plan.
Okay.
And so our billing unit would be able to structure a payment plan that works for both the taxpayer and also ensures that those taxes are collected before the end of the fiscal year.
Check out the best news bites from around town. It's time for City Beat.
LA City Attorney Mike Feuer has announced a significant ruling in his ongoing lawsuits against 3 of the largest trucking companies that operate at the Port of LA. The lawsuits allege that hundreds of drivers are purposefully being classified as independent contractors and not employees in order to evade providing benefits, paying minimum wage and appropriate taxes, and covering operating costs. To read more about the litigation, visit lacityattorney.org. The northern San Fernando Valley is getting a new walk-up COVID-19 testing supersite. The San Fernando Recreation Park in San Fernando will operate from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday with up to 3,000 people per day getting tested. To register for testing, visit corona-virus.la. Having been closed for nearly 8 months because of COVID-19, Skateland Northridge, a mainstay for over 60 years, will soon transform into a 100-bed bridge housing center. The site will be operated by Hope of the Valley Rescue Mission, and the project is assisted by a $6 million loan from the City of Los Angeles. David and Mike Fleming, who own Skateland, hope to open early next year for a few days, if it's safe, for a last skate for fans.
Turning Skateland into Hopeland, a place where people who are homeless can come, they can find shelter, they can find case management, housing navigation, job skills on site. We would also have access to mental health services.
I can't wait to share this story with you. As a dancer, I find these women so inspirational. We get to meet the Rolex and learn more about their work to empower young women with disabilities through dance and a sense of community. Enjoy.
Choreographer Martha Graham said, "Dance is the hidden language of the soul." Our guests today know that all too well. I'm so delighted to be joined by members of the dance team, the Rolettes, Connor Lundius and Catherine Elliott. So great to have you guys here. All right, straight off the bat, dance team, the Rolettes. What is it and what do you guys do?
We are a dance team made up of women with disabilities, women in wheelchairs, and our main mission is to empower other women and girls with disabilities to live boundlessly and shift perspective through dance.
did it change how you feel about you and what you can and cannot do?
I think it's an indescribable feeling for sure, and especially even just when we're all together as a team, the 7 of us, we share a bond and share experiences that the general population doesn't understand. So you feel tremendously at ease and comfortable when you're around people who are just like you.
It's a bond I've never experienced before, and it really gives me a sense of belonging.
We host quite a few events throughout the month virtually. We have virtual dance classes every week, as well as a virtual girls' night once a month. And you can find information about that on our website, info@rolettdance.com. It's really incredible to just see that there are so many other women out there that share the similar mindset and just want to connect and make friends and share experiences. And we're reaching women from 10 different countries around the world, so it's incredible.
This week, we also got the pleasure of chatting with Susan Burton from A New Way of Life Reentry Project. Susan's story is truly what I love most about the soul of Los Angeles. Someone who made an incredible change in her life and now uses the lessons she learned to give a helping hand to others.
After years of heartache and tragedy and substance abuse, Susan Burton turned her life around, but that wasn't enough. She turned back around and extended her hand to women just like her to help them as well. And a new way of life was born. So wonderful to have you. Susan Burton, A New Way of Life founder. You were incarcerated 6 times due to things that you had done because of substance abuse, dealing with the pain that you were going through.
I feel my incarceration was the effects of our society not being willing or able to deal with substance use, with the drug problems in our nation. It did become, for me, a sort of hopeless cycle of in and out, in and out, in and out, and asking for help, not knowing what type of help I needed. We have a kind, loving, comfortable environment for women to come to when they're released from prison. A place for them, a place for their children. But now we have social workers in place. We have a therapist on staff. We have attorneys to help them to get their children back. We have a legal department. We have leadership development, because I believe that when what all that the women have been through, you go through that, you have some leadership skills. And so we support them to become leaders of their community, leaders of their household, leaders, and use their voice for good, use their vote for good.
If someone wants to get more information,
please, you can visit us at anewwayoflife.org.
In our feature story, Joe Buscaino is a lifelong resident of Council District 15, and the vibe of the Port communities runs deep in his DNA. I got to sit down with the council member at Dodger Stadium to talk about his work for the community in the time of a pandemic. Councilman Joe Buscaino, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Rasha. Look at us. Here we are.
What a dream, right?
Amazing. So much history.
You've had your own history here.
In 1992, the San Pedro High baseball team, which I was a part of, we played on this field and won the city championship.
This year, there's been so much that we've been through. So I want to talk about COVID first. It's something that's affected all of us across the Southland, and it continues to affect us. But your district already in April had rolled out some programs to help residents. Could you tell us about those programs and if they're still in effect?
Of course. I'm proud that in my district, our team had to come together and find a way to feed the most vulnerable, our seniors and disabled residents. We launched a food program that helped stimulate the economy by helping support our small businesses, our restaurants. We fed 1,000 people every week for 7 weeks in a row, 4 days a week. And it was important for us, again, to help our local restaurants and feed those who needed us the most. We also worked with the private sector and were able to bring in $500,000 and provide grocery cards, and we distribute them throughout the district. But I'm also proud that we were the first to house 100 homeless individuals at the Sunrise Hotel in downtown San Pedro. It was what we know it today now as the Project Room Key, that allows homeless individuals to find shelter in a bed with wraparound services.
Well, and I wanted to talk to you about the homeless issue here in Los Angeles. According to the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, the city experienced a 14% increase in the city, but your district experienced a decrease. What do you feel contributed to that?
We saw a reduction in Council District 15, and we're thankful. We're thankful for the residents in my district who said yes to solutions. And I believe I was the first to have not one but 3 bridge home sites, Wilmington, San Pedro, and Watts, to move. They are now up and running. That's 300 souls that came from the sidewalks and into a bridge home shelter.
It seems in your mission too, you're very solution oriented. So the Housing Solutions Action Plan. Talk to me about this plan. What are some of the components? How soon do you think this plan will be implemented?
Channel 35 is getting the exclusive
All right.
on our plan. So we've been meeting with our
We're hearing it here first.
We've been meeting with our neighbor council representatives in all corners of my district. And the housing plan is just that. We got to recognize the fact that city leaders, we are elected to take action, leading with urgency, as I've often said. So this action plan is recognizing the fact that we have already hundreds of permanent supportive housing units in my district, and we're advancing more. We have about 2,000 that are already in the pipeline or have already been built that we're proud of.
I have to say though, before we end here, you are one of those few individuals through the most difficult times. You are always smiling. And I think that just brings so much hope. I don't think I've ever been to an event, even in the most challenging times, you just bring this smile, which brings people hope. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that. It's okay to smile. And you know, as much, I'm Italian, born and raised, and we're emotional. We love to hug and kiss. So I'm sending a virtual hug and a kiss to all of the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you so much. It's
Thanks,
been a
Rasha.
pleasure
Thanks for
having
having
you
me.
here. Looking for the latest thing to do this week? Well, we've got you covered with virtual things to do.
The Los Angeles County Museum of Art presents an exhibit by LA-based artist Alex Prager that satirizes a specific part of working life, the office holiday party. Created with sculptures, costumes, makeup, and props, experience these lifelike scenarios at LACMA. Visit Alex Prager, Farewell Work Holiday Parties, now through January 3rd at the Smith Welcome Plaza, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Visit lacma.org for details. Meditation is known as a healthy modality, so join longtime meditator Doug Frankel as he discusses the positive effects of meditation, particularly during the stressful holiday season.
Even during normal circumstances, the holiday season can be really stressful, but you know, this year we, of course, have the added layer of stress with the COVID situation. So it's really important, I think, for people to take a few minutes every day if they can, or whenever they can, to just sit still and do some self-care.
Happening Saturday, December 5th at 11 a.m. Email woodln@lapl.org for the Zoom link. Want to play a part in the design of the remodel of the historic Vision Theater in Leimert Park? Now's your chance. The top 3 design finalists for the Vision Theater Mainstage Curtain Competition are selected, and it's time to vote for the winner. The Department of Cultural Affairs Performing Arts Program is hosting the competition where the winner gets a $5,000 award. To vote, visit culturela.org. The voting concludes on December 7th, so vote today. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
Well, that's it for this edition. I'm Rasha Goel. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. And don't forget, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.